Well, hi again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of 100 Yards of Football. I'm Harper LeBel. With me is Joey Clinkscales. You are watching the 2026 NFL Draft Prospect Show. And today we're going to feature a guard from the University of Oregon, Emmanuel Pregnon, a big kid. Joey, this is one of those guys that you go, my goodness, this guy you could cover your house with the shadow that he has. Big body. Out of Thomas Jefferson High School in Denver, a two-star athlete coming out of the high school community there, and ends up going to the University of Wyoming and spends a year or two there with the Wyoming Cowboys. Now, I'm a Colorado State Ram, so I don't care. I don't even want to talk about him because he went to Wyoming. But then he goes to the University of Southern California. I'm sorry, all due respect. Great job, Cowboys. And you beat my Rams this year, so good for you. But then he goes to SC. He plays there, and then he ends up at Oregon. So there's a lot of moving around in different parts. Sometimes we will be critical of players. What I think of is he got a little bit better at each stay where he was, and he's improved to where he's kind of a big, soft, fluffy teddy bear type player coming out of high school. Because of his size, someone's going to want him. Wyoming took a chance on him, and now he's the second or third rated guard in the draft this year. We know that there's not a high prospect on a guard compared to tackles, but Joey, my goodness, what an improvement from the athleticism, from that want to, right? The determination and everything else that's a part of what you need and what a guy like you, a former general manager in the NFL, is looking for.
Well, you got to give this kid credit. He continuously got better at every stop. He went in as a two-star athlete at Wyoming. Then he goes to SC and he plays pretty good. And he comes to Oregon. I mean, each time he took a step up and he played better at each place that he went. So you really like that about a player because he consistently got better. And as you can see on the pictures, he's a guy. And the first thing that stands out about this player, not only is his size at 6'4", but he's got long arms. I mean, they're measured at right at 34, 33 and 5/8, 11-inch hands, so pretty big hands. And at the combine, I mean, while the 40 time was, I would say, average at best, what you like about him, and average is pretty good. I mean, he ran a 5.21, but he had a 35-inch vertical and a 9.3 broad jump, which tells you he's got a little bit of explosion in his hips. The 35 vertical at 315 pounds is pretty good. So those are the things you really like about him. And again, watching this player on tape, is he the most athletic guy? Probably not. The 40 time, I'm not really excited about the 40 time in offensive linemen. I mean, it's great if they're fast, tells you they're a really good athlete, but that's not going to persuade me one way or the other. I like the 10 splits better. However, you see this guy move. He doesn't have the quickest feet, so I would be surprised if his shuttle times were great because watching him play, you don't see the foot quickness you would like to have as a consistent inside player. But he does play with a level of physicality. And the more I watched him, the thing that I saw was his ability to punch with his hands, and he created separation when he punched. So that tells you he's got some strength. I don't have the weight room numbers. And just for the audience, the weight room numbers may not be as great as you think they are because for long arm guys, a long arm offensive lineman, it's like they're taking the weight longer, further distance than some of the shorter arm guys. So it's harder for those long arms to get all the way up, lock out, and come back down to the chest and go back up, lock out. So that number may not be great. I don't know what it is. You know,
it's 30. I have him at 30 reps at the combine.
30 is great. 30 is great. That tells you he's probably really strong in the upper body, and that tells me the reason why I saw separation when I saw him punch is because he's got great upper body strength. So that tells me a lot. But again, just talking about that bench press number, it's harder for longer arm guys to do much more than 30. I mean, you see all the guys that will have the records at the combine from the bench press. They're all wide and shorter arm guys because they don't have as far to lift as the long arm guys.
Yeah, and every rep, if my arms are 4 inches longer, I'm putting 8 inches extra into every rep, and I see your point. I trust it. The hand strength, the vertical at 35 inches, the broad jump at 111, the span, which is 83, which he's in the upper percentage there. His bench on a personal level is in the higher level. Everything about his strength and his power, like you mentioned, Joey, is really up there with the top of anybody in the class. You do mention, though, his feet, and he's never going to win a race, but does he need to when he's between a center and a tackle?
Well, he doesn't need to win a race, but the feet quickness, foot quickness, and the ability to adjust can be better. And what I mean by that is right now, the games and twists and stunts that he faces, he's smart enough, he sees those things, and he's able to get his arms and his legs in position. But you see him pulling, and guys will avoid him, and he doesn't have the feet to get his body back in place.
Yeah.
So you see some of those things in times, and then when he's in space, that tackles facing a wide rush, and which creates space for this guard. Then he struggles a little bit from a foot quickness perspective. But if he can get his hands on you, again, he creates separation because he's got a strong upper body.
And that, to me, when you've got a Will Wolfork, a 350-pound guy between the center and the guard, you can at least be big enough, strong enough, and the explosion that he has to keep a guy from Will, getting into the backfield or tackling your running back if you're going to try to do something on short yardage or goal line. But that does worry me as well. The foot speed is obviously something it's critical, right? Do you drop 5 to 10 pounds and you put him on the track for the first part of training camp? What's your recommendation?
I think some of that comes from flexibility. I think he can drop his weight a little better at times. His base is wide. Now he can stop a charge at times, but other times he'll get walked back into the lap of the quarterback, which you don't like. But I do like the fact that he is strong enough to stop a charge. So a direct charge in his chest plate, he's able to handle that. And a lot of guys struggle with that, especially guys that aren't athletic or are really stiff-hipped. They struggle with that. Now, again, I don't know if it's hip stiffness or ankle stiffness, and it looked like more ankle stiffness for this kid because when you see him move and guys adjust on him, it's more of his ankles and his lower body than actually the hip stiffness. So can he improve? Absolutely. I mean, they can all improve. And part of that's just playing lower. On contact, especially when he's pulling, he doesn't finish. So you want to see better finish in this kid because he'll get the initial hit, but then he's not able to sustain because when guys get off his track, he can't get back on his track. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, well, my understanding of, especially from a guard perspective, is your versatility, your ability to be able to go forward, right? Keep somebody from knocking you backward and going left and right and opening a hole or just making sure that the first guy that you make contact with does not end up making a tackle, right? That does not get to the ball carrier. Those are some critical components. And speed and quickness, in many cases, in my opinion, sometimes outweighs power and strength, especially if you're in an offense that has a Joe Gibbs, right? The guy from Denver with the Broncos, he cuts everybody and all that. I don't know if he's that right guy for that, right fit.
No, they don't cut anymore. They can't cut anymore. So that's
understood.
Good.
I'm just saying from a speed, and we're gonna kind of leverage you and what do they call it? The power zone and all that kind of stuff. But if he goes to Baltimore, let's say, and the Ravens offense, basically with the biggest running back in the league. And you know what? We're going to dare you to try to tackle any one of our ball carriers in between the tight ends. You know what I mean? That'd be a great fit for a guy like that because he's big and he's powerful. He may want to gain weight. He's not there to run a 40. He's there to move that 350-pound guy that's in front of him and get to the linebacker and keep him from making a tackle as well.
Yeah, you can see him make the reach block pretty easily. He'll wall off. You'll see him get to the second level and chase guys at times. The thing that I wanted to see more of is consistency with the foot movement. And what I mean by that is sustaining blocks better in the run game. In the pass game, he did a good job. And even in the run game, again, you can see him walling and sealing and creating a seam for the running back. You saw those things happen. So that's not an issue. You just want him to play more consistently, get better movement with his feet. And again, it's not a hip issue. per se. I think it's really an ankle stiffness issue with him,
Okay.
and a quickness issue. And sometimes that ankle stiffness and quickness goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the issue is with this player.
Is there any? I'm going to ask you to defend him at all. Going from Wyoming to USC for 2 years and then going to Oregon for a year. I've had 3 different coaches in 4 years. I've had a lot of people teach me different things about how to do it. One coach told me to do this. The next coach told me not to do this, right? There's some things that the next level coaches are going to want to work with him too. So that'll be 4 different coaches in 5 years. I'm going to give him the pass on that. Is that, learning a new offense, that's not always easy, but learning your responsibility. Do I block this guy or that guy? That can be learned in a very short period of time. What's your perspective in terms of just the learning curve for him and being able to maintain what his assignment is and end up being one of those leaders to pick up a blitz, a change at the last second before the ball is snapped? Does he have those type of abilities as well?
Well, first and foremost, I don't think learning is an issue with this player.
Okay.
Because going from Wyoming to USC, I assure you that the blocking scheme was different, and then going from USC to Oregon, I assure you that blocking scheme was different, and the techniques that they asked him to do. So, from a learning standpoint, I think this kid is probably as smart as anybody, and I would be surprised if he would have any issue picking things up from that standpoint. And again, I think the more and more he gets into a system, he'll be fine. The limitations that he have, again, it's a part of going into the right system. If he's going into a system where they aren't asking him to pull a whole lot, if they aren't asking him to make a ton of second level blocks, can he make second level blocks? Absolutely. Can he pull? Yes. But he's just not great at adjusting. Okay. Now, as a guard, it happens. I tell everybody the inside position of offensive line in the NFL, you have to be more cerebral and you have to be a quick thinker to play that position, even more so than playing on the tackle position. The tackle position, you're going to play the better athletes. On the inside position, the guard in the center, the game happens quicker because of all the twists and the stunts and the games that happen. So the game happens quicker. So that player needs to be able to react quick, see things quickly, be communicative, be able to talk the game through with the other guys. And this player showed the ability to do that.
Yeah, a lot of great things that he's able to do, and the different schematic things that he went through. I'm just saying, 51 games that he played. They've calculated over 3,000 snaps that he's been on the field for. So he's obviously earned the right to be there. And there's just some things you've seen. Some guys that are a little bit faster in terms of pulling and all that kind of stuff, and don't get beat around the edge as well. A lot of different ways to look at this, but his power, his strength, his versatility, the combine, obviously, and he's still the number 2 or 3 ranked guy at the position. So there are a lot of great things to watch. We've also looked at a little bit of the things to improve on. Is there anything else from a coaching perspective that you think that kind of sticks out? I want to know if he's got that want to. Does he play till the echo of the whistle? Is he one of those guys? Because I can coach that guy. You know what I mean? You could coach a guy like that really wants to do it. Do you see that out there as well?
Well, I don't necessarily see him play to the echo of the whistle. But if I'm going to be fair, there are a lot of programs that run a fast-paced offense that they don't want that player playing to the echo of the whistle, because the next step, as soon as the ball is dead, they're running back, they're lining up, they're getting ready to go for the next play. You'd be surprised how many college teams don't huddle.
Speedball. No, I get it.
Yeah, they get back to the line of scrimmage. So while that was the way that I would like to see that, and a lot of other people like to see that, depending on the program you're at, they aren't asking that player to play to the echo of the whistle, especially on offense. So Oregon does some of that at times where they're quick pace, and other times they huddle up and they take their time. And I think it's easier to do when you have a veteran quarterback, and that the quarterback had transferred in from UCLA, had been there a year, then he was started last year, and fortunately he came back because I didn't think he was ready to come back, but that's another story for another day. Yeah. But this is a good player, and he'll continue to get better.
Well, he's Emmanuel Pregnon, 6'4", about 315 pounder out of Oregon. He is a senior from Denver, Colorado. He tested so well in so many different areas. His hand size, his vertical, his broad jump, his bench on a personal level was at over 30. Wingspan, everything about the power that you would want to see. He's right there up with the elites at that position. So we wish him well. Final thoughts, Joey, before we head out.
I like this player. I think he'll be a second or third round pick. He'll go into a situation where he'll probably have a chance to play early for a team, and if not, he'll play his rookie year because he's too talent laden not to do that. So I think this guy will go in and be ready to contribute right away.
Well, we're talking about Emmanuel Pregnon, the guard from Oregon. This has been 100 Yards of Football. We're watching the 2026 NFL Draft Prospect Show along with Joey Clinkscales. Our co-host, Vincent Turner, wasn't able to be with us today, but he'll be returning shortly, and we appreciate you being a part of the show. If you liked it, please subscribe and tell a friend so that we can grow the business, if you know what I mean. But thank you for tuning in, everybody.